Welcome to the Home Group Podcast, where we discuss everything addiction, recovery, mental health. I am Flip.
And I am Luke. Our generation of men, you're not allowed to have feelings.
We're going to talk about things that are uncomfortable, things that are scary, because when you talk about it, you take away its power.
The only thing that's going to keep me clean is me not wanting to be who I was then.
We was in the trenches, now look how we out here ballin'.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Home Group Podcast. I am Flip. Clean date, April Fool's 2016. That's for the homie. That's for the homie Luke.
And I'm Tiffany. Clean date, November 26, 2012. I was going to do a really cool weapon.
You got to do a weapon.
No, but you did a Red Bull pour, and now...
Yeah, but I mean, I think I had to, you know? You got to do a cool weapon, because I've been waiting on... Because at first, I was going to come with, like, a full artillery of...
It's not.
Yeah, no, machine guns and pistols and rocket launchers, which is what he would have wanted.
That's what I thought.
Which is what he... I love that we're talking about him like he's not alive. That's what he would have wanted.
I can't. Listen, we're sad because Luke's not here.
Luke is not here. He is in a little-known country called Kentucky.
Why do you keep saying it's a country?
Because I feel like it's so far away.
It is far away. It's 14 hours in a car away. And life just hasn't been the same since.
Yep.
We were like, do we just cancel the whole podcast? Do we burn the ships? We're going to try our best. And we're going to talk about something that Luke probably wouldn't have wanted to.
Absolutely.
I thought, because Flip and I talk a lot because I'm best friends with his wife. And so we have a lot of conversations about relationships. It's always been that way, where I go to his wife for advice. She comes to me for advice. We go to each other for advice on things. And during our...
She's my therapist.
We had a conversation recently.
She's my therapist.
You should pay me.
I just need a receipt.
Anyway, we were having a conversation the other day, and I was like, dude, we are such good communicators about thoughts and words. And so then I had the idea we should do a podcast discussing relationships. When you're in recovery, they tell you, what's the rule?
No relationships for the first year.
Yeah. Did you wait a year?
No. No. I did not. We know you didn't.
Okay.
I did not. That was probably the hardest thing to even comprehend doing.
Why do you think they say that, to wait a year?
Oh, I know why.
Why?
You're just learning about yourself. You're figuring yourself out, what you like, what you dislike. And, I mean, let's just call it for what it is. You're still a sick human being. Mm-hmm. So what sense does it make for one sick human being to get with another sick human being? That isn't that math that 2 negatives equal a positive. You know what I mean? What is that called? Algebra?
I don't...
Calculus?
Nope.
Trigonometry.
Those aren't anything that you call it.
Science.
Okay. We're saying words. But I don't know why I was going to say biology. I just wanted to add.
Yes!
But that wasn't even what I was going to say. What I was going to say is, I used to hear them say all the time, 2 sick people don't make a well couple.
Ooh, I like that.
And I get it, because I can say, even for me, with 10 years clean, I find myself like filling some kind of void within me with like validation and attention. When you're first in recovery, it's easy to replace that dopamine, serotonin rush of drugs with flirting.
The self-seeking behavior is so bad in early recovery because your self-esteem is so low. Just the way that you generally feel is just not good. I originally took a hiatus from social media.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing.
And I still to this day don't have a Facebook. Aside from the Home Group podcast being on YouTube and Instagram, I've been off social media since 2016. I was the douchebag at the gym taking shirtless selfies and posted it, and everybody who liked my picture, we go together. That's my girlfriend.
I remember you saying this. Yeah, seeking validation.
And if you left a comment, we're engaged.
You're married.
We're engaged.
She's pregnant.
I made the decision to step away from social media so I don't continue down that path because it is very addicting. Even with the podcast, like I find myself when we post an episode, I'm checking the YouTube several times throughout the day to see how many views, if there's new comments, stuff like that and it's wild how it works.
Yeah, absolutely. It's come to a place where we equate likes and views to like our value. And I do that all the time, which is why I never post anymore, because I've been like in a weird place and I didn't want to be affected anymore by other people's input. I needed to work on myself a little bit behind the scenes so that I could build up that self-confidence before opening up myself to the world. But with you, how long were you clean when you started violently pursuing Sierra? Maybe violent isn't the word.
Oh my God.
Violent, vehemently.
Okay, I like that word a lot better than violently. Oh my
When you
God. I
started-
promise we're married by choice. Okay, you can ask her. Oh my God.
It was the wrong word.
Bring Luke back. What the hell's going on here?
It was the wrong word choice. Vehemently, ferociously.
I was still in rehab. I was still in rehab. Because you actually brought a meeting in, and you brought her in, and I went up to talk to her, and she's like, oh, I can't talk to you because so-and-so. And I was like, okay, cool. And then, so I had been pursuing her because we had been friends. We actually lived together. I was dating a different girl. She was dating a different dude, and we lived together, and it was a nightmare.
Because you were using at that point.
Yes, of course. Fast forward, we stayed friends throughout the years, but there was always that attraction there, and we would send each other song lyrics.
Sierra was my roommate in the halfway house. Can I say that? Is she open about being in recovery? I don't want to tell her story, but yeah, she was my room.
You just told the world that I violently pursued her, and you're worried about saying that she was in a halfway house? What the hell is going on here?
I didn't mean to say violent.
Oh my God.
She was my roommate in a halfway house, and I remember she'd be on the bed giggling, and I'm like, "What is that?" And she's like, "It's Flip. Listen to this text message." I'm like, I don't care, but it was cute.
Yeah, but do you know what's so messed up? Is that I tried for years, right? Got me nowhere. Do you know what got me finally to go on a date with her?
What got her to agree
Yes.
to go on a date?
Yes.
What?
And it wasn't violence. Okay? It wasn't violence.
Okay.
Ignore her.
Oh, yes.
Guys, can you relate?
No.
Can you relate?
What do you mean? What happened?
When she came to the rehab
Yes.
and said, I can't talk to you because that friend that I was dating.
Was her friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't want to do that. So whatever. So then I get out of rehab and I start going to meetings, right? And doing all that kind of stuff. And I would see her and I didn't say a word to her. I would walk right past her. I wouldn't even look at her. I didn't say hi, nothing. Because
You were respecting her boundaries.
trying to be a healthy dude. I don't want to go where I'm not wanted.
Is that what it was? Or were you like, this bitch?
I think, and I hate referring to it as a game, right? Or game. Like, I hate that. But, like, I understand it. I have a real hard time following it. I have a real hard time following it because I wear my emotions on my sleeve. I was genuinely not happy about it. So that's why I ignored her. It wasn't because, like, I'm this badass dude who was just, oh, I'm out here to make a point.
You're
like,
pissed?
yeah, I was pissed. So I was like, I'm just not going to talk to her. And then, surprise, here I am, married to her, kids, house.
Listen, I can't do games. Maybe back then, I get it, but I'm too tired. Like,
It's exhausting to think about.
if you like somebody, tell them.
Yep.
If you want to hang out with somebody, ask them to hang out. If you want to spend time with somebody, let them know you want to spend time. Like, why? What is the point of the game?
Relationships are incredibly difficult in early recovery. Let's take recovery out of the equation, though. I think relationships are difficult in general because there are so many times where guys think a certain way, a majority of guys, women think a certain way, and a lot of times, in my opinion, there's just a lack of communication.
Every time.
There's a lack of compromise. There's a lack of what I tell Sierra, doing the little things. Because when you first date somebody, right? It's the sweet gestures. It's the holding the car door open or holding a door at a restaurant or the little things, right? Don't make that face.
People do that.
Fast forward, I've been married, I've been with Sierra for 7 years, almost 8. And I find myself like going to the restaurant and walking in and just swinging the door open and just keep walking,
Slamming it on her face as she enters.
I fall short often, but I think that a lot of times in relationships that don't work, right? We all have circles of friends that have had failed relationships and things like that. And you look at kind of that one big thing that happened, right? If you really unpackage it, it's a series of little things. And the big thing is just kind of what pushed it over, in my opinion.
Yes.
And I'm basically a doctor and a scientist.
Yeah, which neither of those
I am.
have anything to do with
But I'm a doctor
what you're saying.
and a scientist
You're not doing okay.
and a mathematician.
We're not, none of,
So me being a mathematician, doctor of science
okay.
and numbers, that is my humble opinion.
What, that little things add up and then finally the straw breaks the camel's back and you snap?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I also think, and this might be a hot take.
Hot take.
I also think that fundamentally,
I love where this is going. Hold on.
wait, what does that word mean? Now I'm nervous.
I know. When you say that, you know something strong is following. And I just had deja vu about this whole entire episode. Everything that just happened, I just had deja vu, and now it's freaking me out. And it's going to throw me off my game. And I'll be back in 3, 2, 1. Fundamentally.
Holy shit, it's a glitch in the Matrix. You know that when you have deja vu, they say it's your CD skipping? Like your life was supposed to go one way, and then one tiny thing, you made a choice that was like by me stopping and saying, what does that word mean? Our conversation was supposed to go another way, but because I stopped, now the world is going another way. Butterfly effect.
Great movie. Shout out Ashton Kutcher.
I know that normally Luke looks at the camera and says, shout out Ashton Kutcher to repeat you. I'm not going to do that.
Look out, Ashton Kutcher's coming on the pod soon too.
Again, you can't lie.
It's called manifestation, okay? And I am manifesting it. Okay?
That's fair. So damn it.
Fundamentally.
Funty money. So fundamentally, I think it's possible that two people end up in a relationship and they are just down to their core who they are as people, not meant to be together. I think that there's times where you try so hard to change the other person to shape them into what you want as a partner. And I've had people tell me in the past, you are trying to change the chemical makeup of my brain in order to make you happy. And that's not fair.
Damn.
And it was in that moment that I was like, you're right. I guess it's not fair.
That's incredibly interesting that you say that, right? Because there are a lot of relationships that I've known about where it'll be years and I'm like, but wait a minute, that's how they have always been. That's who they are. So why is it now that it's an issue? So if you unpack that, I think that in the beginning, nobody can do any wrong. When you have that chemistry and those fireworks, there can be no wrong.
They could be stabbing someone in front of you and you're like, look how strong.
Look how stabby he does that.
Yeah.
You move past that and you start getting into the comfortable phase.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm so adamant about the little things. Because eventually those sparks do fade away.
I have to interrupt you. I need to know what it is that makes you keep doing the little things, because you keep doing the little things still to this day. Like there's something inside of you that says, I should pick her up this gift. I should do this to make her life easier. Most times by the time people get to where you are, they're so complacent.
Shout out Tobias.
Get your butthole.
Shout out Claritin. And listen, I'm so sorry and I will talk about that. There is somebody, and I searched all day for the comment and I can't find it, who recommended that I take Claritin before I come here. I took Claritin, and you just saw Tobias was right by my face. And guess what? I'm not purple yet. So
Don't touch your face.
knock on wicker, and here we are.
Yeah.
So the biggest thing for me is willingness. Oh, we're really putting this to the test. No, I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Come on,
The cat's
Tobias.
like, oh, you're
Come
not
on.
dying yet?
No, because this is my Dr. Evil Cat.
No.
Okay.
I don't think we should push it.
Yeah, no, we're pushing it.
No.
Come on.
Oh my God, look at the hair coming off of its butt.
Yep, we're doing this.
Okay.
I have the willingness to do. I'm trying to
so
have a serious
stressed.
conversation.
I'm so stressed.
Okay, what's the worst? What's the worst that happens? I die. Ratings.
Let's put a clip.
I die on a podcast. Ratings.
Let's add a clip from last week's
okay.
episode.
I'm about tapped out.
Worried.
I do love cats, and they do love me. Okay, so if Claritin,
This is a good example, though. Sometimes just
Hey.
because you love something doesn't mean it's good for you.
that is very fitting for this episode.
I know, but your eyes look a little red. I feel like it's starting.
No, that's just my eyeballs.
Okay.
Which really cause a problem anytime I get pulled over because they think that I'm smoking weed. They say, "Where's the weed?"
Yeah, 100%.
That's the cops don't say license, registration. They say, "Give me the pot.
Yeah, give me
Give me the marijuana cigarettes." And I'm like, "Sorry,
right.
I don't have any. That's just my face."
Okay, willingness.
Willingness. So in a relationship, it takes compromise because there's certain things that I don't want to do. Just like in a relationship, there's certain things that you don't want to do.
Like what?
I don't know what you don't want
No,
to do.
you. Give us an example of what you don't want to do.
I don't want to be laying in bed at 8:30 at night and go to Steak and Shake to get my wife a chocolate milkshake. That's the last thing that I want to do. That is the last thing on the face of the planet after I've been running around all day, working, get home, make dinner, get kids bathed, kids are in bed, and I literally take a shower. I'm really craving a chocolate milkshake. And I'm like, looks like I'm going to get a chocolate milkshake.
That is what I'm asking about.
Willingness.
What makes you willing to do that? Because most people would be like, Uber Eats, bitch. I am not getting out of bed.
In my opinion, people are confused that love is a feeling. Love is not a feeling. Love is an action. Okay? It takes work. Just like I love my kids, I would die for either of my kids without hesitation. 95% of the time, I can't stand them. I can't stand them. They drive me crazy.
Felt.
I don't like that I can't go to the bathroom in peace. I don't like that every time I take a shower, I'm in there for 13 seconds and the bathroom door swings open and stays open.
Yeah.
I don't like that my kids know where the trash cans are and refuse to use them.
Listen, don't get me started.
But I love them. And just like I love my wife, and love is an action. I guess you can technically say it is a feeling too, but it takes work. It takes showing somebody that no matter what, like, I have your back and I will do what I can to make life easier. And that's truthfully what a relationship should be. It is a partnership. It is not, we are not roommates. It is not like every...
That's the worst.
Oh, God.
The worst. It's like, what is the point? Sorry, don't get me started. Go ahead.
If you are in that relationship and you have made that commitment to another individual that we're going to figure this thing we call life out, I'm going to do a bunch of shit that I really do not want to do. I love her, and she is the mother to my children. She is my best friend, and I drive her crazy. Tobias, I feel like you're going to fall. It's starting to freak me out.
Yeah, maybe just toss him down. Okay. Oh, my
Well,
God.
Claritin. Yeah, look at my pants.
So
and guess
much-
what? Clear eyes.
Don't say it like that.
Clear eyes.
Don't say clear eyes.
Yeah, shout out Ben Stein.
Oh, my gosh.
What?
I forgot all about... I didn't know what you were doing.
Yeah, clear eyes.
I forgot all about him.
Yeah, shout out Ben Stein.
Is he alive?
Yeah, he's going to be on the podcast.
Okay.
Something that I do that drives her crazy. Laundry basket right there. Clothes off, right there on the floor.
Really? You're admitting that?
I admit that. You know another thing I'm terrible at? Cabinets. I go in, I get a bowl out. Guess what's still open when I walk away?
I'm the same.
Cabinet door.
I'm the same way.
Cabinet door stays open.
What's your reason? Is it laziness? Is it from when the babies were little, trying not to wake them up? That's the excuse I use.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to start using that one. No, I truthfully don't think about it. I grab what I need to grab because I cook. I'm used to cooking, so I'm used to kind of like moving around and using multiple things and having to grab things and do all that. And so you don't have time to, let me open this drawer and remove this Tupperware. No,
It takes an extra 2 seconds. You don't have that kind of time. I get it.
I got 2 kids. I don't. 2 seconds is too much.
I get it.
Too many twos.
That's real. Do you guys express to each other that these things drive you crazy? Because I think it's so important. I've been in a relationship where I've begged the person to tell me what I'm doing that bugs them or what I could be doing better so that I could fix it. And for whatever reason, they refused, whether it be that they don't like to communicate or whatever. They're just like, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's good. But then they'd treat me differently and I'd have to freaking guess like why they were treating me differently. And then eventually later it would come out that, they didn't like the way I was doing this thing. And that shit pisses me off. That's why, like, going forward, my biggest thing is honesty. If I'm doing something wrong, please let me know. Because if you tell me nothing's wrong, but then you treat me differently, that's really messed up. It's like a weird mental warfare because it makes me feel like I'm crazy. Is this turning into a rant of me?
No.
Okay.
No. You've been talking for 30 seconds.
I know. I just realized like I'm bitching, and anytime I get the mic, I'm like, and then this motherfucker had the audacity.
This son of a bitch.
I think we go through things so that we can know what to look for in the, next time.
Yeah.
What we want, what we don't want.
So my pops gave me some solid advice when I first got married, and it stuck with me. Pick your battles. Like, is that a fight that are you willing to die on that hill over dishes?
Right.
The answer's no.
Right.
The answer's no.
But that kind of goes along the lines of, like, I would ask myself, will this matter in 5 years? And if it doesn't, just let it go. Do the dishes matter in 5 years? If 5 years from now, somebody knows that you hate doing the dishes, yet they refuse to pick up a dish and wash it, if you have 5 years of that shit, are you one day just going to turn around and smack them in the face with a coffee cup?
A good friend of mine, and I've told this story on here before, so I'm just going to do the condensed version. I called him, and I was bitching about the dishes. Y'all don't know dishes, blah, 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 da, da, da. He let me talk for 10 minutes straight, and I was pacing in my driveway talking about it. I was so mad. And the whole time he's like, damn, yeah, man, that's crazy. And then I finally got done. He said, well, listen. He said, I went through the same thing. I said, oh, yeah, what'd you do? He said, I called my sponsor, and I talked to him about it. I said, what'd he say? I'm thinking I'm about to unlock, like, the mainframe. I am about to get the ultimate cheat code in relationships, right? This dude said, if you don't like it, do something about it. And hung up the phone.
Hung up on you?
He said, if you don't like it.
Or is that what his sponsor did to him?
That's what his sponsor did to him. And so that's what he did to me. He said, if you don't like it, do something about it. Click.
What did he mean?
If you don't like that there's dirty dishes, then clean them. If you don't like that there's clothes on the floor, then pick them up.
Not if you don't like that she doesn't do the dishes, kill her.
No.
That's not, okay.
You've been watching way too many murder shows.
I know. Well, I thought, listen, when you're on the phone bitching to somebody about how your wife doesn't do the dishes.
Yeah.
And he's like, if you don't like something, do something
I have a
about
really
it.
large carpet.
Do something about it.
No.
My head went right to...
No, that's exactly what he meant. If you don't like that there's dirty dishes, go inside and do them. There's something that was so diffusing about that statement.
I get it.
That I laughed. Because I was like, wow, I cannot believe I sat out here for 10 minutes because it would have taken me 2 minutes to just do the dishes.
That's how our sponsors are. They just say shit that makes so much sense
So
so
much sense.
quickly, and then you feel so stupid.
So dumb in the grand scheme of things. When you look at life as a couple, there's going to be disagreements. There's going to be things that matter. Somebody might lose a job. Somebody might lose a loved one. There's couples out there that want to have kids that can't. There's so many crazy things that happen in life. When you look at it that way, am I really willing to die on that hill over some dirty dishes? Because there are people that would love to just do some dishes.
Damn, Flip. Knowledge bomb. That's such a good point.
Oh, you can't wait. Listen, these topics, you've been itching to get at these
Yes,
topics.
because
Round 1, fight.
it's so hard for me
Get over here.
to talk about relationships and not get wildly specific.
Round 1, fight.
I'm just really excited about that.
I can see that.
Sorry.
It doesn't sound like you when you do it, and it's making me want to play Mortal Kombat.
Finish him.
Yeah, so bad.
Maybe that's what you need. That would be good.
You think?
A good, ripping somebody's heart out of their chest cavity and watching their lifeless body fall on the video game.
Ripping their spine out.
Yes.
So these are just topics about relationships. I'm interested to hear your viewpoints. Let's try to keep them short so we can get through them.
You telling me to keep something short is probably not going to happen.
Is arguing a natural part of every relationship?
No.
Elaborate.
I'm trying to keep this short.
That's fine. I'm curious why you said no, though.
Our disagreements, yes. One thing that my wife and I have mastered, something that our kids have never heard, is us argue. We have never called each other names, which is a huge, huge thing for me.
Agree.
I don't think that arguing should be considered a normal thing. Disagreements, yes.
Question. Let's say hypothetically you're married to someone and you never argue because neither of you gives a shit enough to argue.
Well, that's a completely different... I think if you didn't give a shit enough, you would argue because then you would find a reason.
I have started fights just to feel something.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this segment's called That's Not Healthy.
I'm serious though, not out of nowhere. Not just started a fight just to start a fight. But
What I would give to be a fly on a wall with you starting a fight.
You feel like your man doesn't give a shit because they don't give you any clues that they give a shit. You try to say things to them or have conversations and they don't give a shit. So you think to yourself, maybe if I kick this fight up a notch, they'll share something that gives me some kind of indication that they care. You know what I mean?
But I could imagine that you starting. I stand by my original statement. I would love to be a fly on the wall because I could just picture you finding the most random thing and starting an argument in the most awkward of ways. Well, your fucking left sock is always dirty. And it's messing up the floors.
I'm the worst. I'm the worst arguer, Flip. It's not even a joke. You are friends with Drew. Ask him about my arguments because I don't have thoughts until later.
Yeah.
When I'm alone.
Yeah.
So during the argument, I have such a hard time finding words to explain my feelings that I just say, you're wrong.
You're so wrong.
You're a big, dumb, stupid head. So
you were the kid that if somebody made fun of you, you thought of the comeback later that night.
and then
in
you
your
march
room.
back to their house.
Yeah.
That is me. I'm the worst arguer. Fighting can be exciting sometimes.
No, for sure. You know the best part about fighting?
Makeup sex.
Exactly.
You're like, you're never fucking touching me again.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh yeah? We'll see about that. And you're like, what are you going to do?
Yes.
Is it okay to stay in a relationship if you're no longer in love with your partner?
I would think that that question needs to be elaborated a little more. Are you not in love for 3 days? Or is this...
Is it possible to not be in love for 3 days and then get back in love?
I mean, you can be mad at somebody. You can be mad at
That's not
somebody.
the question.
Hear me out, though. Love is an action.
Damn, that's real. All right.
Love is an action.
I was just thinking this while I was reading it.
In love is those sparks. It's that they can do no wrong. It's, oh my God, blah, 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 everything's great.
It's you get butterflies when you think of them.
Yes. And it doesn't mean that I believe that there are certain times throughout a relationship after you grow out of that phase that you can feel flashes of that, right?
Only flashes, though?
In my opinion, if you find a way where you can keep the sparks going, you better pass that secret.
I feel like if anybody knows how to keep the sparks going, it's you. You're not giving me hope right now.
No, because it's work.
So then are we meant to be monogamous if eventually that euphoric feeling goes away and then it just becomes fucking work?
If it's worth it, if it is worth it, right? Then I think you have to do whatever is necessary to make sure that it works. And I use the analogy that if I gave you a spork and I told you there was $1 million buried in that field, are you telling me you wouldn't walk out there and dig with that spork until you found that $1 million? So why are you telling me you are not willing to put in the work to make something last?
What if you don't look at them and think this is $1 million? What if
I just use the analogy.
it's such a good
money,
analogy and I
money.
want it to work?
Yeah.
Like it was working, but then I'm like, I don't view $1 million and somebody who treats me like shit the same way.
Everybody is so quick to point the finger. Very rarely are people willing to look in the mirror and see what they're doing. Now, if you're in a situation where you're giving 110%, and it's not being reciprocated,
Yes.
then I think you need to move forward because
Stab
I
'em with a
believe.
spork. Is that
No. Again, with the murder shows.
I thought-
Please.
okay? Sorry.
With the murder shows.
Sorry.
If you do that, if you are willing to look at yourself and you know I'm giving 110%, and
Can
that
it just be
person is
100?
not. No, you got it. You have to give everything and then some. And then, of course, my wife loves this. Actions speak louder than words.
She does love that.
So I can tell you, I love you, I do anything for you, right? As a friend, I have a lot of love for you. I promise you, if you call me and you're on the side of the road with a flat tire, I'm coming.
Oh, I know. You're the one I would call.
So, but then you have people in your life who are like, oh my God, I love you. You're my friend.
Everybody.
And then they're like, well, I got some muffins in the oven
Yeah.
and my car's overheating
Yeah.
because I didn't put gas in it.
Well, this changes the question completely. Is it okay to stay in a relationship if you're no longer in love with your partner? And if I were to think of love the way that you said it was, is it okay to stay in a relationship where neither of you are willing to put the work in anymore? And in my opinion, the answer is hell no.
There's such this negative connotation with like relationships not working. Imagine if every relationship worked.
That sounds great.
No.
No.
Think about it. How many people have you met
Oh.
that have never dated somebody?
Wait. I thought you meant like the first person who I liked
I mean,
is the one
listen.
I'd end up with.
Oh no, because I heard that story. I heard that story, and boy, oh boy, let's
Your
thank
mouth.
you that is not
Shut the-
because boy, oh boy,
I will kill you right now.
would you be a miserable
Oh
human
my
being?
gosh.
Could you imagine that?
I'm never telling you anything. Yes, I can't imagine it. I really can't. But at one point, it's all I wanted.
I know. It's so funny when you look back at who you dated and your thought process, and you thought that was the one, right? And you're looking back and you're like, I must have been high.
I was probably most of it. What are your thoughts on love languages? Do you believe in them? Do you know yours? Do you care?
You know how I feel about love languages.
Okay, well, tell us.
Listen, I'm going to tell you something right now. Love languages are the real deal.
I agree.
I actually wish Luke was here because he thinks it's a crock of shit.
He does.
He thinks it's a crock of shit. You heard
Let's
it here
call
first.
him and call him and find out what his love language
I
is.
can't. My phone's on.
Damn, mine too.
No, he doesn't think it's he does not think he has a love language.
He doesn't have a way that he likes to be loved.
Correct.
That he feels most loved.
Correct, because I always talk about love languages to him,
Uh-huh.
and he's like, dude, that's just a load of shit because I don't have one.
So does he want to be loved none of the ways or all of them?
As a matter of fact, listen, I'm probably gonna get in trouble, and I'll make sure I talk to him before I air this, but you're getting it on the live.
Oh no.
He said, if you love me, leave me alone. If you want to show me love, leave me alone.
Ew, Luke.
So I thought for sure his would be food. You know, I mean, that's not one, but I'm pretty sure he would
How
make a
can you?
category.
Why even be with somebody if you want to be alone?
No, I think I understand what he was talking about, kind of, maybe. And leave him alone was like just a very blunt way of saying it. But give me my space. Like, I like me time. And which I think is healthy for everybody to have some me time.
Absolutely.
My love language is touch. That's the biggest one for me. What I like, hand holding, kissing, hugs, affection.
Mm-hmm.
That is how I know that you love me. It's the personal touch. I think it just adds such an element because there's energy, there's vibrations, there's positivity, there's all of that stuff that goes in when you are holding a loved one's hand. When you're out in public, when you're walking, holding hands, like this is my girl.
I always end up with people who walk 20 feet ahead of me and would never notice if I get tossed in the back of a van and taken away on the way up to the movie theater.
Well, you probably need to look at that.
But okay, so touch. And this is interesting. And I don't know if you agree or disagree, but sometimes our way of showing love, that's how we show others love because that's how we like to be loved. So that's how we assume everybody likes to be loved. Or it's very different. So for me, my way of showing love is completely different than my love language.
So what is your love language?
I always thought it was one thing.
Which was?
For a while, I thought it was acts of service.
Okay.
And then I wanted words of affirmation. But I think I'm more of like a physical touch person. And I've never been in a relationship where somebody's been very touchy-feely. But there was a period in my marriage lately where it was advised to do lots of that. And I really liked it. I liked just feeling safe and like wanted it. It made me feel desired.
Again, when you go to the little things, you go back to the beginning of the relationship, right? And those things mattered. Like, it mattered.
Yeah.
As stupid as it may seem, if you're laying there on the couch or sitting there on the couch in your hands like this, having a loved one just rub their finger, it seems stupid.
It's sweet.
Or it seems trivial, right? And it seems like, well, we've been together for X amount of years. Like, they should know. I shouldn't have to do something like that. Are you telling me that person is not worth just a little, little tickles on the forearm? Little tickles.
So what's your way of giving love?
You brought up an interesting point that I never looked at, which just like, how can love languages not adapt or change? Because as humans, we grow and we change.
Well, mine have.
That's why I never truthfully thought about it until you just said that. Now, mine is still the same, although I do enjoy
acts of service.
Mm-hmm. Me getting out of bed to go get her a milkshake.
But remember what I told you the other day when we were having a conversation? I was like, what if that's not the way that she feels most loved?
Then she got some explaining to do.
Yeah. Do you think that is her love language?
I do. I could be wrong.
Have you guys talked about it?
It's been a little while since we've had kind of the love language conversation.
Because it would be so shitty if you do all these acts of service and she's like, I'm not feeling it. Like, it's not enough. And all you had to do was reach out and like squeeze a boob because her love language is actually...
If her love language is booby touches and it's not me getting out of bed to go get a milkshake, you know what would happen?
Wouldn't that be crazy though?
You know what would happen?
What?
Have you ever heard of spontaneous combustion?
Yes.
That's what would happen. And I would just...
I believe it. I think it would be so interesting.
I'm going to ask her. I'm going to ask her tonight.
If you found out the way that your partner felt most loved, and so you did that, even if it didn't feel natural for you, but you did that, and then they just bloomed. Because I feel like when you're loved properly, you're the best version of yourself.
Best version.
When you're not loved properly, you just constantly, there's a longing and a feeling of lacking.
Love always wins. If you are loving somebody the way that they want to be loved,
Mm-hmm.
it's only right that it brings out the best in them.
Yeah.
And it should bring out the best in you too.
Yeah.
And this is why I tell people all the time that I'm grateful that I'm an addict, because I'm forced to look at myself and look at my character defects and look at my faults and look at areas that I need to improve in. Where normal people, they just bounce around shitty relationship to shitty relationship and they have no clue.
Yep.
It's just it's a constant victim. Woe is me.
But I also think, recovery or not, it takes a certain kind of individual to be willing to look inward and get motivated to better themselves. Because I know lots of people in recovery who don't. And
Preach.
like for me, I'm always constantly willing and wondering, how can I be better? How can I do this differently? How can I make this person more happy? And I feel like it's not always the same for everyone. Some people are comfortable in their stagnant.
It's so boring. Whoever created love, that
is a
was
dick.
that was not the end result. They did not create love where these two people are going to feel sparks and feel fireworks, and then they're going to get to a place where they're completely comfortable and they
Right.
stop giving a shit.
I'm curious if there's ever a time where you, like, if anybody who's watching this is in a relationship where after 20, 25, 30 years, they still feel those sparks. I feel like when you find the right person, you could just be sitting on the porch, just staring out at the field and be like, there's nowhere else I'd rather be.
Well, it's interesting that like old people, when like one dies and they've been
They
together
die so close together.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
die of a broken heart.
Yeah, I believe it. It happens so often.
You know, Sierra, working at the restaurant, she has regulars and couples that have been together for 40, 50 years. They're like, oh, we're celebrating our 58th wedding anniversary. And she always asks them, what's the secret? And they always say the same thing.
Really?
They always say the same thing. Never go to bed mad and pick your battles. That's what they say.
Really?
Yeah.
What? I've heard never go to bed mad,
Yeah.
but I wonder why. Oh, maybe because it's a chance to reconnect every single night and start the next day fresh.
Absolutely. I think that's a huge part of it. But plus, I mean, there's so many unknowns.
I don't even know if I could go to bed mad if I tried.
It's super hard for me. I normally get a shitty night's sleep.
No, I'm staring at the wall, like holding back.
Have you ever ate Captain Crunch angrily? It's not fun.
It's like eating shards of glass.
You just said,
I'll show them.
I sound like the Tasmanian devil. I'm just she's in La La Land. You know what I mean?
You ever just pull the pillow a little bit to startle her away?
No, you know what I do? I pull the covers.
I have two separate covers. When Drew was here, we would each have our own blanket because I go for comfort.
Strike one.
What is that?
Strike one.
What is strike one?
No. That's
What?
not how a relationship is supposed to rock. You got to be under one blanket.
No, because the Dutch ovens, the amount Flip. We have a split king, so it's two separate beds.
I try to learn as much as I can.
Why does sharing a blanket have anything to do with anything?
I mean, come on.
What?
It's really hard to be intimate with somebody with two separate blankets. What does he put? How are you supposed to put your foot? Do you put your foot out your blanket under his blanket to touch feet?
Ew.
Do you reach your hand under your blanket, under his blanket to put a hand on his arm?
Yeah.
That's silly.
It's not silly. It's just one more layer of fabric.
You got to go over a body pillow, under a blanket, over the vast divide, through another thing, stiff arm the CPAP machine.
But when you've got those little kids, dude, it's like, hey, we've got 4 minutes before Chloe comes in and says she saw a ghost.
Sometimes you got to lock
Get it
yourself in
in.
a closet.
But I'm just saying, like, 2 blankets is not that outlandish because,
I don't like it.
all right, well,
I don't like it.
it's not a problem anymore.
I know, but moving forward,
Yeah.
that's strike one.
Okay, I'll make sure I have a full-length blankie. But nobody's ever coming in my bed again, so.
Interesting. You chose those
I
words.
didn't.
Me.
Those are not the words I meant.
Nobody's coming in this bed.
No, nobody's coming. Just
Okay.
All right.
This is uncomfortable. In a relationship, moving forward, what is the most important thing that you would look for in a significant other aside from honesty?
Okay, yeah, because that would have been my number one.
Of course.
Obviously.
I know it would have.
I would say somebody who can make me laugh and hold a conversation is super, super, super important.
So you need somebody that you can not only connect with on a physical level, because physical attraction is important.
It is important, but it's not most important because one day we're all going to be wrinkly bags of bones. We're going to be decrepit, walking with walkers, and all we're going to have left is the personality. And so that's what I'm aiming for first.
Can I just say, I love how you find just one little pocket in every episode to make it so sad.
Was that sad?
One day, you're just going to be a decrepit pile of bones. And you're going to be so hideous and ugly, and you're going to smell, and everything is going to hurt, and you're basically dying. Oh my God, every time.
I'm gonna pee my pants.
Every time.
I'm gonna pee. That is
Okay.
not how I meant it. I just meant like those people who come into Sierra's restaurant and they're like, we've been married for 38 years. They might have been cute at one point, but today they're getting the early bird special
Yep.
with their white hair. But so you need somebody who you can go to Denny's with at 4 p.m. for dinner and have a good conversation with.
I think that's so important. That's a really, really good point.
Yeah.
I think it is vital. I think laughter,
yeah.
right? If you look at the most important things, and it's interesting that if you look at the things that you want in a spouse, aside, put the physical aside. If you look at something that you want in a spouse, it's also incredibly similar to something that you look for in a friend. Honesty,
Yeah.
security, trustworthy, great conversations.
I have another one. Can I give one more?
Absolutely.
The third thing, or second, depending on how you look at it, is I want to feel safe. I constantly feel like afraid. And I don't know if it's because my parents died and I feel like I'm out here all on my own or what, but I just want to feel secure and safe.
You're a scaredy cat.
I will.
You're a scaredy cat.
I am.
I literally call you. I say, hey, Tiff, I'm gonna be there in 5 minutes. I knock on the door. Who is it? Who's there? Oh my God.
Who's there? I have a large knife.
That's not.
I have the largest knife in existence.
Never happened.
And bear traps.
But I want someone who I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I heard a noise. And they're like, say less, bitch. And they get up and they freaking grab a sword and they search the house for something to, I want like a knight to protect me. That's what I want. So
Interesting.
somebody who's funny, somebody who's good at talking, and somebody who loves
Protector.
me so much to want to protect me.
When they hear that noise.
I feel like that would bring out my like femininity so much, and I'm dying for that part of me to come out, because right now I feel like for so long I feel like I have to be independent and tough and strong like all my life, and I would love to just be like, he just keeps me safe or she, whatever, we don't know what direction we're going.
Okay.
I'm open to anyone who loves me properly.
I don't think that anything that you said is unreasonable or unrealistic. I think that
Was there a but?
moving forward, you need to be open and honest, not only with whoever that might be, but most importantly, with yourself.
What? Don't do the eyebrow raise thing, because I don't know what you mean.
You got to be honest with yourself. You know when you are in that back and forth with somebody and it's new and it's exciting and you tend to overlook things.
This is oddly specific.
Isn't that how every relationship
Do
starts?
people tend to overlook things?
I think it's important for you to, and I think it's important for everybody to, because then you would have a lot less shitty relationships. If you're like, oh my God, he's so amazing, right? But then, like, he's literally sitting here like, you know what I'm saying, Dad? You know what I'm saying? There's gnarly surf out there. Shout out surfers. I don't know why I went there.
Yeah, I love
okay?
surfers.
I don't know why I went there.
I
but
get what you're saying. Because you're just thinking of like a pothead
yeah.
space brain.
Yeah, and you're like, oh my God, but like, he's so cute.
You remind me of Aaron Paul, kind of, with the beanie on.
Shout out Aaron Paul. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, you remind
Huge
me
fan.
of him.
Ironically enough, I'm in a little Hollywood production coming out, Die Hard 6, and I am Bruce Willis's sidekick. And for my stunt doubles, they brought in Aaron Paul to do my stunts for me. I'm doing the acting, so I'm super excited about it. I didn't tell anybody, you know. I'm just, you know,
Humble.
super humble.
Yeah, you just want to be humble.
Yeah.
I'm going to call a psychiatrist when this is over because I feel...
Oh, you're going to call the psychiatrist? Wow, now we're talking in the third person? Because you're my psychiatrist.
Oh, I was like, I wasn't.
You're going to call yourself, and you're going to call me crazy. She's going to call me crazy, but she's going to be on the phone. Hey, Tiffany, yes, what's going on? Oh, you need to come over here and get Flip because he's crazy. Oh, no, what's he doing now? That's what's going to happen.
Listen, until you pay me, I'm not your psychiatrist. But you live in an alternate universe, you and your friend, and that's...
He's in an alternate universe, Kentucky, right now. It's an alternate universe. It's right on the outside of Pluto.
That's not true.
Yep.
He's eating...
In a black hole. He's in a black hole. Luke, ladies and gentlemen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. He got sucked into a black hole, and now he's in Kentucky, and I don't know how to get him back. But
You know,
we're gonna
somebody
try.
was mad. They're like, what do you guys have against Kentucky?
You want to know the funny part? You want to know the funny part? I love Kentucky.
I know.
We used to take family trips and go on a houseboat because they have massive lakes. And I'd have family drive down from Ohio, and we'd drive up and go out on the lake. So shout out Kentucky. I love you. And I love Kentucky Wildcats, and I love Jack Harlow. Did I tell you last time Jack Harlow's going to be on the podcast?
Too many times, honestly. And
Okay, cool.
it's not true any of
What's
the times
poppin'?
that you said it.
Until he is. And then you are going to owe me 20,000 rupees.
Rubies?
No, that would make me rich.
What's a rupee?
I'm pretty sure it is.
You don't even know.
I think it's either the currency in India. I'm pretty sure it's like a rupee, or it is the currency on the game Zelda. Don't know which one.
It's probably Zelda because you're 5.
Shout out Zelda.
No?
Listen,
Oh my gosh, what if we did a dating game show?
explain.
Yeah, like, you know, remember the dating game?
Yeah.
It's like the Bachelorette.
Yes. Except instead of roses, just hear me out. We're just spitballing.
Are you going to say it, Gordita?
No, I was going to say goldfish. They give you goldfish.
Well, no.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm the one handing out the things to people.
You hand out goldfish.
I'm handing out
Listen.
Taco Bell.
Oh my God. Listen.
Okay.
If they can love and nurture and protect a goldfish, you don't think they're going to protect you?
I'm going to throw up in my mouth.
You want to protect
You're
her.
so satisfied with yourself.
You want to
just now.
protect her.
Please crop it on your face while you're having
Oh, I will.
a spasm
I will.
because it was a sight.
Yeah.
I think it would be fun. And then you and Luke
Yeah. Or the judges.
interview the people
Yep.
like Bad Boys,
Yes.
like Will Smith and Martin Lawrence.
Yes. Me, obviously, the Will Smith.
Yes,
Yeah.
without a
Of course,
second
of
thought.
course,
and then,
of course.
And then and you narrow it down, and
Yeah.
then they go through like an obstacle course, and then they get
Yes.
swords, and they have to fight people off.
And then, season finale, Hunger Games.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then they kill each other. And then
What?
whoever survives gets your heart after they've blood eagled the last survivor.
Yeah, I like it.
All right, cool. So that's coming. 2024. Look out. Look out. It's coming. Super excited. Great episode. I enjoyed this.
It was. I wasn't sure how it was going to go.
Me
because
either.
When the three of us are together, you and him are just so ridiculous that I'm usually just like laughing and having no clue what's going on.
Yeah.
And I knew that this was going to be not as much like laughter ridiculousness, but more profound because we're both doctors of science and biology.
Yep. In numbers.
And I feel like you said so many nice things about love and relationships that I'd never thought of before.
You have opened my eyes to some things as well that,
Thanks. I was hoping you were going to say that because I don't feel like I contributed
oh, of course you did.
that much.
Of
Okay.
course you did.
Thanks.
And I think that is the most important lesson of love. And you came up with it, believe it or not.
Well-
You said the most profound thing about love, and you didn't even know that you said it.
No, but look at my muscle spasming.
You're dehydrated.
Look.
I
Okay.
know, you're dehydrated.
You didn't see it jump though.
The most profound thing that you said is love is continuing to be willing to learn.
I said
It's
that?
a continuation. Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Of course.
You have to constantly learn.
You got to find somebody who's willing to keep learning.
Great episode.
Yeah.
You know my favorite part. Claritin. Claritin kept me alive.
No, don't give them a shout out until they pay us. You don't get shit from us. But yeah, so how do you feel?
I feel amazing. I was petting the cat.
Yeah, that's so weird.
I was petting the cat.
This is what I mean. You should have thought about this so long ago.
I thought it was like allergies, like pollen and
But
stuff.
it gives me hope that you can
Gives
record
you
here
hope.
again in the future.
I've been dealing with this my entire life. I have family members that had cats, and I used to have to go over there for holidays, and I fucking leave looking like the Nutty Professor. Okay? Just crying, face purple and swollen, fucking hand, my tongue's fucking... They're like, oh, thank you so much. You got to come back soon. Oh my
Oh
God.
my God, I'm going to pee.
Okay? And the whole time it's just been there at every store I ever go to.
That sucks. That sucks.
Shout out. I'm so sorry. I cannot remember her
We'll find
name.
it. We'll find the person who
Oh my
sent it and give you a
God.
gift basket.
Yes.
Telling him the most obvious thing that everybody knows.
Well, nobody said it. They
I
just
did.
watched me die.
I said, why don't you take something before
I don't
you
recall.
go?
We love each and every one of you.
We
Thank
do.
you, Patreons. Hope you enjoyed the live look in. Each and every one of you. Listen, our last video broke our all-time high, and Luke and I are ecstatic about it. I'm enjoying the ride.
Yeah.
I'm trusting the process.
Amen.
And I'm wiggling with the wiggles.
Yeah. Without Luke, we'll be lucky to get 3 views. Did you say you're wiggling with the wiggles?
Sometimes you got to wiggle with the wiggles. You know? And do you know what else you have to do?